Carson Beck and his girlfriend Hanna Cavinder, both student athletes at the University of Miami, had 3 vehicles stolen overnight from them. As far as I know, Beck's Lamborghini and Mercedes are still missing, while Cavinder's SUV was found. Sean, let me just get your thoughts on this situation before we dive into Carson Beck in Miami. What are your thoughts on this?
Do they live together?
I would guess so. I would take a guess so. It's an odd situation to hit the headlines today. Interesting. Now,
and three whips stolen, not just one.
Yeah, like I guess he has 2 different cars or something. This is the NIL era. He got a Lamborghini and a Mercedes.
I guess that's why you have insurance, man. Let that shit go. That sounds like some cartel type action, there, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me ask you, Sean. Let's talk more in the bigger picture here. Carson Beck obviously transferred to Miami from Georgia this offseason, and I thought that was an interesting development. Now Miami brings in another 1-year guy as their quarterback. What are your thoughts on Carson Beck transferring to Miami, and how may he impact the team? Do you think this is a good fit, a bad fit? What are your thoughts?
Well, Bailey, I think it depends on what Carson Beck they get. People forget this. Coming into this college football season, Carson Beck was the projected #1 pick in the draft. And he played such an uneven season that he played himself out of that position. And, because of his measurables, I'm sure he probably could have processed, himself into the first round of the draft, but he didn't have a really good year at Georgia. I don't think there's anybody at Georgia that's upset that he's gone. So I think it's just going to depend on, can he regain the form that made him the prohibitive #1 pick before the season. We'll see.
Absolutely. And let me ask you, Miami in the ACC, what's their ceiling with Carson Beck? Are you optimistic going into next season with that Carson Beck leading that school, or is there cause for concern? What are your thoughts?
So here's what's interesting. Last year was a down year for the ACC football league. Everybody can agree. Clemson wasn't the dominant team it's been. Florida State was terrible. The rest of the schools that sometimes pop up, Louisville and the such, were just average. ACC title game was Clemson versus SMU. SMU's first year in the conference. Right. Miami has 10 guys that got invited to the NFL Scouting Combine. Yeah. They have the potential #1 pick in the draft in Cam Ward, and they couldn't get it done with all of that talent in a down year in the conference. So I feel like, if they were going to win it, last year was the year to win it. I mean, the best version of Carson Beck probably isn't as explosive as Cam Ward, because Cam can just do more. So, you lose Restrepo, you lose a lot of, 10 guys invited to the NFL Scouting Combine, most in the ACC, and I think 6th or 7th most of any school. So I don't know. I don't know what the expectations should be there. I'd be interested in what Steve Kim has to say. But I said that to say it's one of the reasons that I'm kind of I wish Cam Ward had me in his circle of trust.
Right. Yeah.
I just hate when these young, everybody's going to, regret not drafting you. I mean, you just had the most talented team in a down year in the ACC, and you played good, but you were uneven at times, but y'all couldn't get to the ACC title game.
Yeah, that is true.
You have to get drafted to a team that has inferior talent to almost everybody they're going to play, most likely, if you go where you think you're going to go. So I don't know. To answer your question, I'm not sure.
Absolutely. That's a great answer. And Cam Ward is going to go to a team with inferior talent. We'll see where he ends up. He just put out a statement, or had something to say the other day about teams, saying, if you don't want me, blah, 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 just put out a statement. I was like, damn, Cam. We talked about that on JB's show. Let me ask you, what are your thoughts on Mario Cristobal in Miami? Underperformed last year at all? Or, you had all the pieces and just couldn't put it together. What are your thoughts on Mario Cristobal?
I'm not going to say he's a bad coach, but I'm not going to say he's a coach where my expectation would be championships. He's really good at evaluating talent and collecting talent. He kind of struggles, in my opinion, with game management and figuring out how to get the guys motivated every week to play their best. Like Miami won games this year because they were the most talented, not because they were well coached.
All right, absolutely. It's a great point. And let me ask you, if Miami has a down year, what's next for that? Last year they fired their DC, and they bring in a new guy. And now, if they have a down year with Carson Beck, hopefully with new talent to surround Carson Beck, what does that mean for Cristobal? Is he going to be on the hot seat? Are people in Miami going to be looking to run him out? Billy Napier is still there. Same with Norvell. I don't know what's next for Cristobal if they have a down year.
Deion Sanders will be the head coach at Florida State of Miami next year if one of them has a bad year.
Wow. You really think so?
Yeah.
You don't think there's a shot Prime goes to the NFL? You think he comes back to Florida?
They come back to Florida.
Absolutely, man. I
don't think there's an owner and a GM that will give Deion the power that he wants and deserves at the National Football League level.
Yeah, that's a fair point. He definitely wants full autonomy. No way Jerry Jones was ever going to give him that. So that whole news to the Cowboys, I was like, he has autonomy with Rick George in Colorado. I don't think Jerry Jones would ever do that. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And listen, Boulder's getting more boring by the day. No offense to McChesney and my guys, but I'm telling you. Now that I'm telling you, once Shiloh and Shador stop coming around, I'm just gonna tell you, Boulder gonna start looking like Boulder. No offense to the state of Colorado. I heard Boulder's a great place to visit, but
no, I hear where you're coming from, Sean. Well,